Alright, what's going on, guys? My name's Chopper. So we have a cipher in Gorod Krovi. You could call it a cipher, but it was actually a lot easier to decode than a lot of other ones in the map, or even in other maps for that matter. But it was actually super interesting, and this does reference the Tranzit crew. And so we're going to go ahead and give you the actual translation of this cipher, and we're going to talk about it because we have a lot to talk about. So the actual translation for the cipher reads as follows. Finally, the lab is almost complete. Security measures have been put in place, so the chance of detection by the Americans is very unlikely. We also have several agents embedded with the staff as insurance. We will keep the individuals in stasis, on ice to speak, and continue the specimen rotation once we finish drawing more power from the drill. Oh, I almost forgot. The sequencing for the current blood samples is as follows. SS, MJ, AB, R. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about who this cipher was most likely written by. Now, this is probably either written by the Germans at 935, at Group 935, or is written by Division 9 in Japan. So, it's probably either one of those two. Obviously, it's against the Americans. It could also be the Russians, just throwing that out there, as we are in Gorod Krovi. It could be somebody in Russia or in Stalingrad. We really don't know, but that's always up in the air. I'm thinking it's either Division 9 or 935, though. That's probably the two biggest things here. Now, at first when I saw this, I was thinking about Broken Arrow, because you guys know it's talking about a lab. Now, if you guys don't know who Broken Arrow is or what Broken Arrow is, this was featured in the Black Ops 2 storyline with Russman and the entire Tranzit crew. And Broken Arrow was a laboratory, or was a facility where he worked at, where Russman worked at before he ran to the rest of the Tranzit crew. Now, we find out later that in this facility, in this Broken Arrow facility, as we hear in diarized radios, that it was eventually destroyed either by a fire set on by one of the employees, who could have been Russman himself, but it was set on by one of the employees to destroy all the evidence they were working, most likely working with 115. Now, who was the one who destroyed this facility? A lot of people are thinking it's Russman, but Russman has no memory. He doesn't even remember his own last name. As you can see in the buried cutscene, he actually forgets his own name, and they have to remind him. So he doesn't even know where he came from. He doesn't know who set the fire. He just knows that he was an operative at Broken Arrow at one point, and that's really about it. But the popular theory is that Richtofen actually persuaded Russman to destroy all the evidence at Broken Arrow working with 115, and because Russman was around 115 so much, he's now suffering that 115-induced memory loss. As you guys know, some of the characters in the zombie storyline are now suffering memory loss due to 115 and all this transportation, that sort of stuff. It does take an effect on your brain or on your mental health, so that is one thing to keep in mind. That's most likely why Russman couldn't even remember his own name or where he was from or where he worked or anything like that. They had to remind him basically everything except how to speak his own language. What's also very interesting to note is that if you listen closely during the Gorod Krovi Easter egg, you can actually hear Sophia mention or reference Broken Arrow about once or twice. I think I've heard two different quotes if we're talking about Broken Arrow, and that is literally the first time in Black Ops 3 Zombies that we've ever heard a reference about Broken Arrow. It was talked about very little in Black Ops 2, so it was already, we didn't have that much information, but now this is crazy in Black Ops 3 Zombies, you know, with this entire 2.0 crew, and they're actually talking about Broken Arrow. That's like legitimately insane, and this is where everything is coming full circle, and the craziness doesn't stop here yet. Now, it talks about a drill. I'm not going to touch too much on this, but the drill, we don't really know about it, but they're like drawing power from it, and the only time we've ever seen a drill doing something is in the Nuketown loading screen. It was just like this really random drill with all this energy around it. We have no idea what that's doing. Like, we even have radios in the Nuketown Zombies map, but it doesn't explain what that drill is doing, so maybe they could be explaining what this drill is actually doing in that picture. I don't know. That's just the only really drill we've seen. I mean, we've seen like other things in Barry that could resemble drills a little bit, or maybe they could be talking about the pylons. Who knows? We really don't know at this point, but that's just something interesting to think about. Now, at the end of this cipher, it reads the letters SS, MJ, AB, R. Now, this is probably self-explanatory to you guys, but for those of you who don't know the Transit crew's real names, SS is the one and only Samuel Stullinger, MJ is Marlton Johnson, AB is Abigail Brierton, and then R is Russman. No last name for Russman because, like I said, nobody else knows it, not even himself. And that's probably because they had met him without his last name, right? He was already coming from the Broken Arrow division and didn't even know his own last name, so how would anybody else know it? Does that make sense? All the files and records were destroyed, so there's no way to even find it on record. So it's just R for Russman, that's it. But it looks like the species or the blood samples that they have is from the actual Transit crew. Now, this is what I was actually calling at the end of the Zetsubo no Shima Easter egg. I don't know if you guys remember this. I think I made an entire video about this, is that basically the blood vials after the Zetsubo Easter egg, when every other character had them on them but they were unlabeled, we didn't know whose they were, I was calling that it is probably the Transit crew, and then there's other, you know, kind of ones left over with other characters having it on them. It's probably the Call of the Dead crew. So I'm just gonna say that right now. I think I did kind of predict that. But regardless, it looks like their blood is in this lab and they're getting ready to either test it. Now, they kept the specimen kind of on ice or in maybe a cryogenic chamber. Now, we don't know if they actually have the person themselves, like if they actually have the transit crew in their bodily form, or if they just have their blood. What it sounds like is if they have both. They have their blood samples, and they also have the actual humans in some sort of like cryogenic chamber, just to keep them alive, just to keep them on ice for a little bit whenever they need to get this power from the drill to enact whatever they're going to do with this blood. They didn't make it very clear in the cipher at all what they plan on doing. But think back to the end of the Zetsubo no Shima Easter egg when Richtofen talks about the blood vials as an insurance policy just in case they don't like where they end up. And now the cipher actually words it. We also have several agents embedded with the staff as insurance, and this is the one, of course, talking about the blood vial. So now it's kind of explaining what the insurance policy is, but doesn't really give us a clear picture of what that is. So we will get more information soon. I will keep you guys up to date on this. Now, if I had to take a guess about where the storyline is going right now, just kind of based on where it's been thus far, I would say that they're getting the souls and the blood to recreate the 1.0 universe, or the one that we started out with before the whole multiverse theory came in, and they're using the blood or the souls to preserve it, or maybe both. We really don't know. I don't know about the blood, but I think the souls is trying to preserve the 1.0 universe. That's going to be my guess for now. I really don't know. Like I said, guys, we're going to get more information soon, and I have a lot of crazy videos coming up on this channel. If you guys are new to this channel, make sure to do subscribe. I really would appreciate it, and drop a like on this video. I put a lot of time and effort into putting this video together. I would appreciate if we can get 60 likes on this video. You guys kill it every time. Thank you everybody so much. But if you're new, make sure to do subscribe. I really would appreciate it, and a lot of new stuff is coming up on this channel. So anyway, guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.